I think I'm live, right? We good here now? Maybe a little bit of a buffer. As per usual, be about 10 minutes in. I also forgot to do that stream link. So yeah, bear with us. About 10 minutes in, we'll start. Probably start with a little update for that the kitty. I know there's a lot of people worried. So
you cleaned it.
Yeah. But as per usual, let me see if I get some good tunes while we wait. Cool. Chi, if you could actually do that, that'd be great. I will set up that PC. That from before. Hey guys. You know, it's been an interesting couple hours. I really like that music from before. I think I'm gonna play it again. Sure, of course I'll reach out to Anna. Of course. We'll have her on right now. Stop working? Das ist weird. Well, that won't do. Just a sec, guys.
Salut mon petit chat. T'as déjà mangé? T'as déjà mangé, toi?
Okay, let's try it again. See you soon.
restaurants have always been there for you. A place to celebrate, to take a first date, to grab a meal between soccer practice and piano. And even though tables are empty at the moment, the kitchens are full, prepping everything so it's just right, keeping customers safe, and making the food as delicious as ever. They're still there for you. Now you can be there for them. While the doors may be closed, the kitchens are open for delivery.
I'm here. Just give me a couple minutes. It's been an interesting little bit. It's good to see you all. I had to multitask these days, okay? Get your popcorn out. And yes, it is popcorn. See if I can do it.
Hello, kitty. You want to it? It's okay. It's okay. Hey. How's it on my shoulder?
Kind of like music. So we'll say wait another couple moments. While we get some more people in. Ooh. I'll probably get dinged for this, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. This gets no views.
Are you ready for it?
Okay, that's not it. that's some wish commercial. We'll play this and we'll go from there. Come on. You can do it, ads. 20 minutes of YouTube ads. I do not miss watching YouTube on a mobile device. You know what I'm talking about, old schoolers.
It's just an illusion. Look it up. And all this confusion. Look it up. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Look it up. And all this confusion. Look it up. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion.
That was for a few people there. How we doing? I guess we'll go from there. It's good to see some faces in here that aren't normally coming in so early. It's great to see you guys. I'm gonna read you guys out. Just one sec there. Vic's Art, I hope everything's going well with you, my friend. I've seen the messages and my prayers are going your way. And you'll get through this, man. You'll get through this. You know who to look for. We have Digivox. J23 hung up at the top there. It's good to see you, man. We have Casey Kraken, Chai Girl. I always say Chi Girl. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Speak Life, Garden, and Homestead and Permaculture. Yes, it is very weird to see you in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. It's always like, oh, no, I just missed it. Don't worry. You don't have to catch all my stuff. I don't expect anybody to do so. Brittany. Hello, Brittany. Sorry I missed you there earlier. And sorry to everybody if I have seen like I've been a little bit distant over the past little bit. It's just I'll give you like a little update on the kitty just for, you know, because I know people are going to ask. And we're at the 15-minute mark now, so we can just tell them we're ready to go back to 15-minute mark. So this little buddy, we're not seeing a negative to the treatment. Still a little bit drowsy, but that's to be affected. He went a little bit too long. There were some ocular problems, but we don't think it's a neurological problem. Now, this is, I guess, how it works. Just real quick, when they get the wet symptoms, it can be really easy treated. With the ocular, once that starts going in, it can be a little bit tougher, but not sure. And he did have that, or he started to get that by the time I took him in on Friday, or again on Friday. And but the good news is, from what we're seeing right now, nothing neurological can be like really suspected just yet. Hind legs are a little bit weak because he lost a lot of weight. So that's the biggest danger, the physical things. But and he's drowsy. He's a little bit drowsy, but that's to be expected. I mean, he lost a lot of weight, but the thing is, he's still eating. He's taking to the steroids pretty well. Things are becoming a little bit more regular. But you know, it's the beginning, so I can't I can't tell off the first 24 hours. So we got to keep going and keep praying. And but looks like he's not giving up anytime soon. So neither will I. So yeah, that's my update. I don't want to talk about too much because it gets a little bit overwhelming to deal with, to be quite honest. And maybe these past couple ones have been based on, you know, I just need to get away, step back for a little bit. And I also noticed that there were some things that were a little bit too weird for me to ignore, but I still want to tell it to you. And I think this is a really important conversation. Who's John Canada? Who's John Canada? Who is this guy that bequeathed TMF with the Free Radio Revolution's website? I think that's a really good question. I'm not claiming that I have the answer. When I say that John Canada is Red Pill, I don't even really know who Red Pill is, really. At least Jeff gave a name. Red Pill gave nothing, has given nothing. And so therefore, I can't really identify what or who Red Pill is. Not yet. Not yet. But that popcorn, I will say this. I got to be a little bit careful. I do understand. I get it. I know, because I'm seeming a little bit weird. I know. But sometimes you gotta, I guess, see things for what they are. And just give me a moment on this. Yeah, John Canada. I'll read that email out again while we do this, by the way. While we're waiting. Yeah, I had a John Canada that messaged me for, it wasn't the first time, it was a couple times. We're gonna read this out. And in the first message, he told me that he was the one that tipped off TMF that Jeff's website was available from the registries again. It was what looks to me just an extremely coincidental thing that his registry expired of that website just a few days after his passing. And this seems to be coincidental. And either this guy's a really good investigator who got really lucky, or maybe there's something else to it that I'm not quite sure. But he told me that he found that website and he was like, he thought that TMF was the best person to have it. Which, I think it's bad judgment character. But, we all make mistakes. That's fine. But what I found really troubling, I'll read this out again, because this one's actually kind of really sketchy from Canada 438. And it's John Canada. He addressed himself. Hi, Avidan. John from Montreal. By the way, just to let you know, I'm not going to be mentioning any last names, and I'll be replacing the first names of the family members at which he is so inclined to mention with the first letter of their name. Okay, you will be able to identify them, I'm pretty sure, because it's kind of works out that way. They all have like different letters and stuff. But I'm not going to be giving you any, you know what I mean, stuff like that could hurt their family, because that was what we were trying to ignore. That's what we were trying to avoid the whole time, right? So like, why are we talking about this kind of stuff? So yeah, I'll read this out. Hey, Avinan, it's John from Montreal. We spoke a few times in the chat, but I'm sure you remember me. I was messaging you regarding the video post about Jeff and a sibling. I know based on my research, everyone in it, hey, based on your research, that Dave's aunt, so David, is C, Jeff's mother. I also know David's last name is, not telling you, as was Jay, who I believe was David's sibling, who published obituaries and family trees for the direct and extended members of their family tree. I was wondering if there's a way we could chat a bit more about why you found, and if you could put me in contact with David's information. I came upon information that might be worth sharing with you, although given the nature of it, it might be worth staying between us, because we don't know for sure if it's foul play or not. Also, have you tried contacting Jeff's other cousins from the family? Listen, I'm going to drop this soon. And as soon as I have the time, I'm going to drop it. And I'm not making this up. This is someone actually, he was able to figure out that Jeff's webpage was gone, but he can't get to this. He couldn't figure this stuff out. And why is he even asking in the first place? Why is he asking this stuff? Like, why is this so important at this point to try and identify that when they're able to give you so much information that's so cogent? It's so obvious. It's so obvious. Yeah. So that's where we're going on there, to have someone that's asking me these kinds of questions as an investigator who's actually in Montreal. I don't think he knew Jeff. I don't think anybody knows this John Canada guy, if he is actually in Montreal. And I'm pretty sure, like I was saying before, I'm not going to be able to get a conversation with him here on voice. I will. Trust me, John Canada, you show up right now or at any point. I will not hide you or anything like that. I want you to come here. But I got a feeling that's not going to happen. We're not going to have a conversation in French about, and he's certainly not going to be able to give me an actual Quebec accent like I've heard. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. That's why I'm asking that. But this goes beyond just this kind of thing. These are little bit tidbits of information that show you the inside, that if you look a little bit deeper, you'll find this stuff. You'll find that many people are not who they claim to be. And you got to watch out. Okay. And normally I wouldn't really mess around with this, but I see so many people that are truly with Christ here, and they're looking for this movement for hope. and they're being drawn in by grifters, by just people with selfish interest for whatever reason, things like that. I think there was a little bit of one of the best pieces of advice over the past 24 hours was just remember that labels are probably a bad thing. Labels are probably a bad thing. And maybe maybe it is, because it is a thought-killing process, just say like trolls or something like that. So please forgive me if I do err again and say that kind of thing, because I think that would be doing a disservice to this. I almost burnt that popcorn, by the way, when I cooked it. So maybe that's an omen. You got to be a little bit careful, right? But at the same time, it doesn't mean that these conversations can't be had. So concerned about family members of someone that's giving real information, when you can verify it all. You can verify it all. You can verify Jeff's passing at the funeral home. All you needed was that phone call that was withheld from you for 2 weeks, and you would have been good. But nope. They had to keep stretching this out, whomever it was, and for whatever reason. And here we are today with a lot of people to this day thinking that Jeff is still alive. So we can have these conversations. I think there's people that want to profit from Jeff's death, or at least the mystery behind it. And they're ready and willing to say, do, and be anything in order to keep that attention. So let's let the fun begin, folks. We do have a pretty lively chat today. I want to say hello to everybody. Just 1 second there now. No, so I'll start with Brittany apologizing for not being on time. Don't worry about being on time. I come on at the most random hours. I give no heads up. You don't ever have to worry about that. It's all good, man. And then you tell me to quit apologizing. So there we go. We're both wearing the same thing. So we got Kitty's drowsy from all the late night or all the late night live streams. Maybe he might want me to shut up a little bit, but we also have a little small, or not small, but a quiet place for him, and he prefers to be talking. I'm pretty sure. I got this feeling he's always been kind of into it. I don't want to pick him up at the moment because of the whole physical thing. We got to get the weight back up, and I don't want to upset him or anything like that. But he is right here. He's chilling out, and maybe he'll come over and say hi. John Canada, yeah, sketchy character. But we'll keep talking as this goes on. And I would like to actually, well, since we're here, because I think last time I said it, there was like maybe 5 people in because it was in the middle of the night. We're not too far off now anyways, but just 1 second. Let's read this out. Because I think this is really important. It's a law or a theorem that I'm trying to develop. Doesn't mean that I have it perfect, but I think it's something that's worth chatting. We have, just 1 sec, sorry. All right. So I call it Truth Media's Law. It's a little bit of a ripoff of Godwin's, but we'll say it again, and we'll see if anybody wants to amend it, because it is a little bit inflammatory, and we could actually improve upon that. I would hope that people would kind of take up the discussion of what it tries to say, and maybe we can get a better name on it, because just right now, I think this would be the best example. As a discussion in truth movement theory grows longer, the probability of truth media films declaring it both exposed and case closed reaches 1. In the alternative to this, where either or must be the case, is my thesis. As a discussion, in truth movement theory grows longer, the probability of truth media films believing it reaches 1. And I think it has to be one or the other. I don't think it has to be truth or false, and or it doesn't. The belief or the case closed and exposed things, I don't think it has anything to do with truth. It could be right at times, it could be wrong at times, and it doesn't matter. What really matters is what's the popular opinion, and can something be taken and profited from that. And again, everybody's thinking that I'm just specifically going on red pill, and in a way it is. I am if I'm pushing buttons, it would be his. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But the reason being is that I'm back. It's been a long time. I can only watch a few videos, but I know a little bit more inner workings with him. Okay, and I don't want to just like put some random person's name on it. I would like maybe something more theoretic, like not names. Doesn't have to be a name, but as this moment goes, I think where he is the perfect example that you can look at, that everything will be exposed in case closed, as long as it gains enough traction in this movement and it has just enough support so that it's not a risk to uphold. He'll probably case close and expose that. That's my theory. Now, if you want to actually reword that, you're more than welcome. I would rather someone debate me on that thesis as to whether or not it is correct, or how they would revise it, because I do understand it is a little bit inflammatory, but I think there's a time that you gotta be inflammatory because there's a little bit too much of this information control going on. So I'll give you an example. When I'm talking about this stuff that John Canada is red pill, and I won't stop saying that, though I don't know it for sure. Let me tell you something. Every time I said that in the chat, you could see this today, and you will see it later. Every time I said that, that's when they come out and they try and slide that chat. Right? They don't want you thinking about it. And I don't know why. I could be wrong. I could be a donkey. And that's cool. I'm fine with that. You can say whatever you want about me, but these questions about why he's sending emails about that is pretty weird, considering how he so easily gave that up to TMF and thought that they were best of buds. But I think that there's something off about the research balance there, and definitely worth looking into. Because if he doesn't exist, who got it for him? I haven't gotten a reply from him yet about more information about anything like that. When I did reply to him, I did read out the reply last time. I'm not going to take too much more time on that because I'm just like doing the same show over. But I would like to know what you've thought. Have you come to any conclusions on it? I understand too if you think that I'm being a little bit too inflammatory. I get that, and that's fine. But what I really want to see is people thinking for themselves. Okay, don't take my word for it. Go look yourself. Go look yourself and ask yourself, why are people trying to disrupt that question so much? So we'll go from there. We'll go from there. So, oh no, am I buffering a little bit? I think it's because I'm like trying to scroll through the chats and stuff like that. So I'm gonna like just leave it like that. Give me one moment, and I think we should be able to fix it. See, I usually have like something to like keep this from moving, and I've just been so busy, and so maybe part of me wants to get on my PC so bad that I'm just not even thinking about this setup anymore. I'm sorry about that. This will improve greatly very soon. I know I keep saying that to the point where you probably don't believe me. But I mean, no, I'm taking my time. I got other things to do. But I really do like talking to you guys. And I'm hoping we can have some legitimate conversation about observances over the past 24 hours, along with the theses that I brought forth. So what do you think about that? I'll read it out again, just one last time. I could use phone for chat only. I guess I could. You know what? That would actually even then save some time, I guess. So yeah, let's do that. I'm just going to basically wait until someone... Was there some interesting things that you saw today in the live chat? I know that a lot of people probably looked at it and they were like, what's going on with this guy? I get that. Did you see anything weird? Sorry. I don't know how to get in my own live chat, apparently. All right. Yeah, I think we're doing here. Let me know if the buffer is doing well. Just type like a 1 in chat. Don't forget to hit the like button if you want to hear a little bit more about that. I mean, it's not that often you're going to have people that were in one of these inner circles of one of the bigger channels that did content creation themselves, so they understand the mentality. They don't really have anything to gain by doing this. This is just a pain in the butt. It's like if I was looking at this from a perspective that truth has no value and I'm just here to shill or something like that, I don't really have anything to gain from this. And maybe I'm a little bit more aware than some of the current people in the inner circles right now to how it really ends up working. Thank you so much for confirming that it looks good. Yeah, you might want to, if you have any questions on any of this kind of stuff or any observances, I will be here for the next little bit. I have to wait until my cat's fed anyway, or I have to get him his medication in about 45 minutes. So I won't be here too long this time. But one thing I will say is that whoever or whatever entities are that are misleading you in this movement, they operate behind illusion, okay? And they often won't show their faces. And this is, again, you can say I'm like singling out TMF, but this is the case with many of them. They won't show their faces. They don't give them full names, or at least close, anything close, you know what I mean?
It's done.
Oh, cool, thanks. Anything close to an actual lead on identity. So you don't know who these people are. You will never know who these people are. It's been years. And like again, it's not about like, should you dox these people? It's about who are these people that we're supposed to place truth, like the basis of truth in. Oh, John from Canada said it. Oh, well, that's a problem. That's a big problem. What's the IP and the email header info? Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And yeah, there are reasons. There are reasons to not show your face. I get that. I get it. Okay. I get it. But the problem then is, I don't have a problem if you're anonymous. It's not necessarily about the anonymity. The problem is they operate behind that illusion, and then they want all the absolute proof from you when they have nothing to do. So they're looking for identities on you. You can't ever prove who they are. And you will see when they're talking to each other in chat. I remember Jeff did this a lot. He was like, you know me, man. And it's like, listen, as much as even I thought I knew Jeff, right? You don't know these people. You don't know me. And I mean, like, listen, I could be real. I could be fake. I don't think that even really matters at this point. I think what matters is that, does the message that I'm pointing out, is it cogent to plausibility? That's all that matters. Okay. And if I'm saying that the only thing I have here is that, oh, well, I knew them, man, then that's a big problem. That's a big problem. And if I came into this when I was like trying to help with the Jeff C thing and saying, well, I know his face and that's his face, there you go. You know what I mean? That I knew that was not enough for people looking for their own truth. Okay. And I couldn't just accept that. And I couldn't just like tell people that wanted to know for themselves that they were disgusting trolls and shills. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do that. Okay. At the same time, I didn't want to bother the family. Like I did send off like a message or whatnot, but it didn't take very long. It took 4 or 5 days, something like that, before we started getting confirmation. That call that was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago came out. You could even censor Jeff's last name, and enough people would have been able to figure it out because he was already identified as his name being cogent with Jeff C. And it was easy enough to check that you could call these authoritative sources and get your own. You never had to contact the family. They hid behind that. And then anybody talking about them, this is what they do, okay? This is what they do. They come out in a bunch of different sock puppets, okay? I've documented this. This isn't just, I actually just unlocked these. And I have some pretty weird videos on it too. So like, don't worry about that. But I was going through a pretty hard time. But I was able to document when Jeff and all of us had an inner circle of people who would use sock puppet accounts and go troll people and screenshot them and then bring back the information into that center, which was Google Plus. I don't think you can use Google Plus like that now, but that's what we were doing. And this is a pathological thing. This wasn't anything special that Jeff, Chrissy, Press, and myself had. Okay, this was something that naturally forms when you have a narcissist at the head. They create an inner circle, they feel threatened, and then they send that inner circle at you. That's how this works. And this is where the problem comes in. They often say, you know me, man. You know me, man. But we don't. We don't know you. Even if you know Jeff's name, you still don't know the person. And I think that the more you look into his character, if you idolized him and you still maybe have that same kind of thing, you will see problems. And it doesn't mean that you have to hate the guy. And it doesn't mean that it means that he had nothing to do with the truth. Okay? What it means is that you just don't know these people. Okay? We can be anonymous. And in fact, in many ways, I do recommend that. It makes it a little bit easier to put away doubts, reasonable doubts, if you can prove that you're a real person. Yes, but you don't need to show that you're a real person in order to show truth. Okay. So there's benefits with that, but the problem comes in when they start using this basically throwaway account, which is Red Pill or TMF, right? It's a throwaway account, and you can't really, we're supposed to be expecting them to be the truth bearers when you can't verify them. That's a big problem. Big problem, especially when people like John Canada start showing up and starts asking for people's family information and contact information. And apparently he's the one that brought it over to there, or brought the attention to Truth Media Films, who really had no strong relationship with Jeff other than like the narcissistic bouts that they would have. And yeah, doesn't make sense, or at least to conclude that he is a real person without asking these questions doesn't make sense. Let's say that would be more cogent with the truth. Okay. But yeah, what do you think about that? I'm going to start reading out the chats there. I won't roll up because I know that there was some buffering, but if I get a chance, I'll give it a try. All right. I'm going to go with Speak, Life, Garden, Homestead, and Permaculture. It is a lot to get out. Well, how can I shorten this? Speak Life. I'm going to go Speak Life. You know that? I like Speak Life. That's cool. I don't sub TMF and big channels that give off a corporate vibe. Real truth is hunted down like gold and found in places not frequently traveled. Sometimes it'll be on big channels, but not often, in my opinion. Absolutely. My point is that I'm not saying that Truth TMF won't post truths. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that what he posts, his process through of what content should be posted, has nothing to do with the truth. That would be, I guess, maybe a shortened or condensed version of what the thesis was about Truth Media's law. As a truth conspiracy theory channel or discussion grows longer, the likelihood that True Media Films, I'm trying to remember this and memorize it now, the likelihood that True Media Films will consider it exposed and case closed reaches 1. I think it's very, that's what I'm trying to say there. I think that people, all too often, we follow the leader when we're looking to be our own leaders even, and we have to be careful about that. And sometimes you can break through to people by imparting that wisdom calmly. Sometimes you need to be able to show. And I think the more you look at these chats, not right now, this is looking great. This is looking great. But the more I talk about John Canada is Red Pill, I think the more tension that will seem to spontaneously arise within this movement. And I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that there are a bunch of groups that need the tables turned on them. And it needs to start happening with you guys, the small channels, the watchers, the watchers, the audience, the commenters. Doesn't have to be on my channel, but you need to be decentralized, just like Speak Life is saying. I think that's a really good point. Old-fashioned detective work, yeah, and you can do it without bothering the family. You can do it without bothering the family. You need a good enough lead to go and talk to the family, I think. Or if you just show that you're in it for the truth and not for money, and you don't look corporate and all that stuff, they'll come to you. They will come to you. They'll come to somebody, and somebody who will be able to prove the truth, to show the receipts, and that's how truth gets out. That's how truth gets out. It doesn't get out by being vetted by a truth cult, because that's what it looks like. So, for example, I kept trying to say this before. The chat that happened, that ensued after last night, you would see, we need to talk about more about this, but you can't say anything. This is total absolute, unless it's absolute proof. You can't be talking about this kind of stuff. It's like that's gonna hurt people. And you're just like, well, I mean, Robbie Parker and, you know, Penny Losner, and I switched the letters around for you, Penny, but you know what I mean. And I don't know Penny. I don't know Penny Losner. All I'm saying is that we had no problem looking at these families. You know. Yeah, it's a problem. That's a problem. That's a big problem, because it makes it's not a good thing to be going after families, man. I don't know why you're doing that. But on the other end, so they say you need absolute proof, right? And you need absolute proof to talk about this. But you go to these channels saying this stuff, and they don't have much proof what they're talking about. Like, you know, TransAsia, 9/11. Listen, 9/11. I'll give you my thoughts on 9/11 right now, just for a little bit of fun. Just for a little bit of fun while we're waiting on the people until I hit the right button. 9/11, the World Trade Center was built as an exoskeleton. Okay, most structures, they have central. It's central pillory that carries basically all of the weight, and it's meant to be spread and distributed as it goes out. Okay, and that was basically our architecture right up until the invention of steel. Now, it took a little bit of while for that to truly come to form. We had something like Art Deco that would not need it as much, but it would still rely on setbacks. Like if you ever look at the Empire State Building, and the further you go out, you get like, sometimes you get like that little square in, and it comes in like that. It's called a setback, right? This still wasn't using steel. Now, what made the World Trade Center what was a very unique part about it is that it did have central structure. Yes, it did. But a lot of its strength was based on the outside, what you could consider an exoskeleton instead of an endoskeleton, I guess. Is that what a regular skeleton of the old buildings? Okay, so here's where my theory that it wasn't, that jets can't melt fuel or melt steel and stuff like that, collapsed. Okay, I looked at its structural, how it was built, and what took place. That plane, let's just assuming that it's true, it took out that central pillaring, but that did not need, like, that wouldn't have stopped, or it wouldn't have caused the collapse necessarily. Okay. And you did not need to melt the steel, because if you start looking into what structural integrity of steel is that the hotter it gets, the less prone to bending or to withholding tension exists. Okay, this was the biggest issue. Steel replaced wood in a way. Stone is based on a compressional force. It can take tons of compression, but stone, you could rip, like literally, I mean, like, you can pick up a small stone and you'll never be able to stamp it into thing, but you can start cracking up like shale and other sedimentary rocks, at least. And there's a reason for that, because it can't take the tension. It can take the pressure, and that's why you can build, you know, pyramids out of this kind of stuff. But at the same time, can't take the tension, right? And that's what wood came in for. When steel replaced this, it was even much better. But its problem was, it didn't go up in flames, but its structure started deteriorating. Its integrity started deteriorating the hotter it gets. And it got to a point, and it absolutely did, because there was a fire within that, and the venting system as well was helping it go on, the air within it, and it made it warm enough, or hot, it's not warm, it's hot, that once that started collapsing, the webbing structure of this exoskeleton, right, with the floors, each floor was like webbing, okay? Once that started to go in, and once that started melting and burning and causing more heat, because the thing that was used created more heat, then that part right above where the plane went in, that part became too heavy for the rest of that to hold. It started to melt. It started to like cave in on itself, because it's the tension, right? On the outside, it couldn't bend like this, but finally it bent in on itself and it went down. Okay. So that's why it is certainly plausible that at least partially the official story is correct. Now, as for who is behind it, I'm not going to get into that. But the actual whole no planes thing, or it doesn't melt fuel stuff, I don't think anybody who actually looks at this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it could be thermite, but the plane, thermite aside, all that aside, the jet fuel could have been hot enough to put down those buildings, especially if you know what you're doing, especially with one of these unique structures that had their flaws. That was the problem. That was the big problem. Once that central pillar was taken out, it was only a matter of time before it couldn't hold in, as long as the fire kept going, as long as like that whole warm stuff happened. That's fine. You can believe whatever you want. But all I can see is that I believe that there is a plausible theory for why they came down without having to go to no planes, or jet fuel can't melt steel, because it didn't need to melt it. All it needed to do is make it warm enough to make it bend more, or unable to hold the weight. That's, yeah. So this is how they do these things, right? Because this is really hard. Your average person like doesn't look into architecture or, you know, engineering, things like that, right? They're not going to be. This stuff is pretty tough stuff. I'm not ragging on people for this, but if you have these conversations, then you can really work these out. But if you listen to what is the popular theory, and then you listen to the big channels that want to connect with the most people possible, they're probably going to say, hey, that's a pretty, you know, you can't melt steel, you know, and they don't really know anything, because I mean, like, how do you know what Red Pill knows? He doesn't explain really anything. He's just like, case closed, this is crazy, here's some kind of hook shot, and you got to believe it now. No. Listen, you want a truth movement? Start thinking for yourself. Don't listen to this stuff. I'm not, hey, Larry Silverstein, all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about who planned it. I'm not talking about that stuff. All I'm saying is that if you're going to get off the track, this is actually a great example. We'll keep this in chat for the moment. Yeah, so just one sec. Yeah, I mean, hey, the dancing little hats. All of this is still plausible within that theory that I just gave you. I don't. This is the biggest problem with this kind of stuff, right? Because like, if you can't question that, right? And if you question that, you start getting people saying you're gone off the cliff. And Larry Silverstein, which again, I'm not defending Larry Silverstein. There's some sketchy stuff going on there, insurance and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely, look into that, and it's still well within the bounds of reason of that story. But I think we found the. I guess that was one of the buttons there. That was one of the buttons there. Now listen, guys, go back to Truth Media Films, and you're going to see Truth Media Films along with Zero Infinity. Actually, they have a lot of videos right now about 9/11 once more, because they keep loving going back to that, man. I don't have to explain anything, because like, if you talk about how this is possible, you didn't need to worry about no planes. Building 7, okay, cool. That's a good question. How does that tie into the theory? Cool. What's the last time that you had 2 massive buildings, the tallest buildings in cities of over 10 million, on fire, collapsing, right? And another building aside from that. Okay? Think about that. Think about that. Where was all the attention on that day? Where was all the attention on that day? It was building 1 and 2, right? It's 1 and 2. Nobody was thinking about 7. Okay? And there was no real look of extensive fire damage of that building at first. Okay? Especially with the collapse, you can't get in there. We didn't have the same kind of cameras. Like, I mean, like, it was New York City. There was lots of cameras, yes, but not nearly as much as what we have today. We got to bear that in mind too. And they had fire, I believe it was into the lobby, which also raises up. And you can see when that thing collapses, it's very cogent what they were talking about, because this had a little bit of the same structure to it as well. And this is how they came down, almost like controlled demolitions, because once that heat started building up, and the thing was, people were tending to buildings 1 and 2. And if building 7 was in a place like, I don't know, Cleveland, let's just say Cleveland, and that would have been the biggest building or something like that. Maybe not Cleveland, but like, in a smaller city, if that was on fire, that would have had all the attention in the world. But in New York City on that day, 1 and 2 had all the attention. They had all the firefighters, and then on top of that, it collapsed. So it just more than decimated the firefighters that were out that day. More than decimated. Decimated is 1 in 10 people. Like, these people were trapped. Like, there was nothing that they could do. Like, this is some crazy, crazy stuff that happened there. They had to deal with that. Building 7 went all day. Fire. Well, maybe not all day, but hours and hours and hours. There was fire, got hot, and you can see as it goes down before the buildings. Go look at that building 7. Look at the penthouse up on top. Okay? And you see it start here. And when that starts collapsing, the rest of it collapses in on of itself. Okay? It starts from the left and it goes to the right. In a controlled demolition, that would have been much more in like this. What happened was the shaft that was going up had all the heat. That part of that building lost its structural integrity. Once that part started coming down, the rest of it got hauled down with it, because the rest of the building was quite hot as well. It was just, that was where it started to break. And then it went like that. But listen, I want to get back to this, because I now see I have the attention of some people. That's all I want to talk about. We can move on. Oh yeah, I know. It's cool. That's fine. Don't worry. I'm not here to impress you guys. This is one thing that you need to remember. Okay, I'm not here to get the popular opinion. The popular opinion is worth as much to me as mainstream media, because I'm seeing a lot of problems. And I think that you guys need to start looking at these problems, no matter how much it hurts to think about it, that you might be fooling yourself, okay? Because this isn't just about TMF, and it's not just about me. If you don't start thinking like this, you're going to continue to have people influence your opinions and decisions. And I can, like, normally, most of my shows, it's much more calm and how we go about doing that. But every now and then, you gotta rustle some jimmies, rustle those jimmies. So, right about an hour. Let me see if I missed anything. Bye, Digibox. And you're welcome back anytime. You're certainly welcome to disagree with me, especially where people are mentioned. Building 7. Good question. I'm not saying that's not a good question. Same thing. And yeah, I'll even connecting Benjamin Netanyahu to another Pearl Harbor. Oh, he said we need another Pearl Harbor. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go with I don't know, because I can't just take your word for it. Give me the quote. I'll keep you here for as long as you bring me that quote. Yeah, a link of it. I'll look it up. We can look it up. But everybody here can start verifying that for themselves. Could very well be the case. I don't know. Could be some other propaganda as well. Palestinians and the ISIS, all that crap, the ones that we funded, or USA funded, Canada funded, all these guys, when we knocked out Libya as well, which was like their main opposition. They're not much better than Hasbro. So I mean, like, sure, I'll talk about JIDF. If you want to talk about that, I guess, fine. If you want to talk about Hasbro, yeah, okay, fine, we can do that. I don't really mind doing that, but I think that we got to stay based in it at least. Typing all caps, being like, Benjamin Netanyahu need another Pearl Harbor. Like, who are you going to convince, man? Aside from people in this bubble, who are you going to convince? Really? I mean, has this ever worked? Has this ever worked for you outside of this corner of YouTube? Like, have you ever gone to like just some random person on the street and said, Benjamin Netanyahu, we need another Pearl Harbor? Come on, think about it. Has this ever worked? Has this ever worked? I don't think it has. I think you need to be a little bit more interested in proving yourself and not just flailing emotions around. I could be wrong. Remember I brought up the Q thing? She rocked it. She knocked it out of the park. She was like, hey, here's the link. Watch this. Or I don't even know if she said watch this. She just dropped it and she went, you know. And maybe she was like a little bit worried that like it disagreed with my current opinion. So like, you know, I would have been ticked or something like that. But no, absolutely not. She gave me a great video that I didn't need to rely on the person that was talking to me and like all how much he talks about how much he loves the occult or not loves the occult or knows the occult. This person was based in the Word, and he was also based in reality. I would say that he would not. He was definitely anti-QAnon. He had his biases, so I could have easily dismissed him, but it was the fact that he had the facts. He had the receipts, he had the chapters, verses, the situation, the links, anything I needed. And it didn't matter how much I didn't like him. I could have been mad at him. I could have been mad at Chi for not giving me or for giving me information that disagrees with me. You know, I could do all of that. I could flip out and say, well, does he know about Benjamin Netanyahu? But no. I just looked at the facts that were presented and I went from there. Now, this guy was really good at it. Really good at it. And I was really appreciative of that. So, no, come in, disagree with me. I'm down. I'm totally down. These are what these chats are going to be for. I'm going to say things that a lot of people are going to disagree with, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to keep saying it if I need to. If I'm proven wrong, I'll certainly say I'm proven wrong. No problem. The main thing is the conversation needs to continue. And one thing I've noted, we got a lot of ladies. And I think, ladies, I think that these forces want to try and project a lot of power on you because it's been a while since I looked at those analytics, like I was saying. But and Biden very well could have been Q. Yeah. Look up Operation Hope or something like that. It was like the Bolshevik plan that was very much like Q. So we don't know. But this is what I want to say to the ladies, because you might not want to be commenting sometimes now a little bit more, whereas guys might feel a little bit emboldened. I do feel a little bit emboldened. I'm not gonna lie. I got to be careful about that. I know, but you got to be careful about this kind of stuff because they are trying to like make you afraid to speak, make you afraid to speak out. And it's not just ladies, it's everybody. It's just that it's done in different ways. So one thing you want to do is, you know, don't allow these people to make you afraid to speak, because if they really cared about the truth and they really cared about listening to all sides to come to the best conclusion possible, as opposed to doing the MSM's way, then they'd welcome the points if they are if they're based in logic. That's all. Oh, there's one thing I need to do. Poor Anna. Poor Anna. Where are we? I'm about 1 hour in now. So if someone can like timestamp this after and bring to Anna, I'll try and bring to Anna too. She has to be no longer be a mod, because of course I blew up the poor chat section. I mean, like things were crazy. Absolutely, I get that. So you know, tensions running high. It could be anything. Like don't worry. Anna, don't worry. So she asked me to be mod, or to just take off the mod, the wrench, because it was, you know, a little bit too much much to handle. I can understand that. So I go to hider, or sorry, I go to, what do you call it? This is exactly what I'm doing, right? So I go to try and take off the wrench, and I end up hiding her because I was so used to like just going one by one on Zero's accounts, and it was just kind of interesting just to see what happens after each one or so. Because listen, you guys can, you can chat about this, and you can say that, you can say whatever you want about me, but the fact still remains. It looks like people are pulling the wool over your eyes, and if you want to really look into how deep the rabbit hole goes, I would certainly start with John Canada, and I'll start compiling stuff, I guess. See what happens if he ever comes out again. I don't think he's ever going to have to, or he's never going to come out again. I got a feeling. I'll you know, I like to be proven wrong. I would definitely have a conversation with him. We can do a hangouts. And as for should I just hug it out with TMF? I tell you what. Here's my invitation. Vanna comes here. No. Anna's no longer invisible. No. It was a huge mistake. I felt so bad when I did it. I was like, oh no. And so yeah, I accidentally put her on hide, but I took it away as soon as possible. So like she should be able to comment. So yeah, I don't know if TMF wants to work it out. Tell him to stop sending his flying monkeys and trying to contact people that aren't directly me. I don't think I've blocked him from anything, so I've never gotten an email from him. I have my email up, and I'm starting to see more and more proof that he's around all these things. So I tell you what, I would try and work this out if he comes here. And the reason why I say this, I won't be going over there. I won't be going over there, and I won't be going over into yours. I have the right to my own opinion, and I have the right to my own channel, and I respect the same thing about you. I'm not really asking to speak with you all that much. There are a few people that are asking to speak, but I noticed that your old videos, after so long, they all have a habit of just, oh, it's all been wiped, man. It's all been wiped. No archives, no nothing. But you want to do an archive for Jeff on his freeradiorevolution.com, but you don't have an archive for your own things. No. I won't be going on yours. You got a track record. Of disappearing information. So I won't be doing that. But this is my invitation to both John Canada and TMF. It'll be one-on-one. We'll be one-on-one because I know how this gets. Or maybe we can do two. If I say that John Canada is then, maybe we can compare voices then, like how mine is compared to Jeff C. Wonder if there's anything behind that. So yeah, I will do that. I would do that. If you came over on this channel to clear up the things, and you can prove to me, if you can prove to me that you're not John, well, that'd be interesting. If you can prove to me that you were probably the best person in your mind to take up that website, even if someone told you or not, well, then I'm totally down for that. I'm totally down for that too. We can have that discussion, and it would be a discussion. It's not going to be a yelling match like with Jeff. You're not going to get that out of me. And I think you're starting to learn that, actually. I think you're starting to learn that, and I think that's why I haven't heard from you. But yeah, flying monkeys. Stop sending over your flying monkeys. I'll just say it straight up to you. Stop sending over your buddies. It's okay. It's okay. You can talk to me. I'll talk to you, and I'll be very calm about it. I'll be just like this. I know I am pushing buttons right now, and I'm accelerating and stuff like that. I get that. I understand. It looks a little bit shaky, a little bit sketchy. You know what I mean? But that's my call. That's my call to you. Take it or leave it. I won't be going on yours. I've seen your track record, and same thing with all these other ones. There's no need to. I'm here. People know where to look for. And if they want to start their own discussion, you're more than welcome. Put my ugly mug in all my videos wherever you want. I'm totally fine with it. You'll only create more discussion. Do you see what I'm trying to do here? You'll only create more discussion. and you're in a feedback loop that you don't know how to get out of. That's why I'm getting flying monkeys and not you, because I think, yeah, I do think that I personally think that John Canada is red pill in one of his sock puppet accounts. Someone was asking about troll accounts, or someone was saying troll accounts. Someone was like, troll accounts? And it's like, what we usually say is a sock puppet. So like, I never did them, but you can look at that We'll Do It Live, the final episode I call the Truth Over Unity. I'm such a melodramatic loser. I get that. But yeah, what we did, we just all went on sock puppets and we started attacking people that disagree with Jeff. And the same was being done to us, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what team it was comprised of, but I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now, all these types of people will have inner circles, and they will have sock puppets. And I can't tell the real from the fake, of course. That's what they're counting on, right? So when they come in and they start trolling, and then like, so I'll give you one example when I'm talking about trolling. When I say trolling, I'll define it for you. I believe the original version of it is that it's like trawling. Okay, you're putting out a big net of different things to see what emotional responses come out of it. Okay, so I'm seeing it a lot when you start talking about these channels. If you guys do it, you'll see it for yourself. You'll see it for yourself. Someone will come in. It's usually a 3-step, and then it kind of just exacerbates from there. Number one, you'll have someone come in and say something very, very egregious, like things that are just like awful. You know what I mean? Like they'll call you idiots. They'll say whatever possible that's meant to elicit an emotional response, right? And there's a difference between taking that bait and just wanting to drop the rest of it. Okay, like this stuff is a distraction. We were talking about something completely different. You're straw manning this. You're calling people idiots. This is not healthy discussion. I don't want this here on my channel. So eventually you'll come to that point, and it's supposed to do that, right? If you care about the game. I will. Yeah, I saw that. But if you care about the game, that's supposed to kind of get you going to the point where you're angry, all right? Or you're looking like you're trying to censor someone. Once you do that, then you have the next puppet or person in the inner circle come in, and they're like, oh, whoa, this person's cool, man. Like, I don't know why you just did that. Like, that was totally fine. Like, you're like calling people idiots and like, trying to flood the thing. That was totally fine, man. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. So you're just like, yeah, okay, cool. And this is the point where this is the gaslighting point for new channels. So if you want to do your own channel, be prepared for this. If you don't want to put up with this, okay, you can choose to play the game by being worried about that, okay. And if you see that person was there the whole time and they had no problem with it, they saw all this stuff, but then they start complaining over that, chances are they're linked. They're very linked. I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know what's wrong with that. But what they want to do is elicit the same response from the audience, right? And they keep going. So like in that case last time, it was Zero Infinity. So I was like, yeah, well, listen, man, you were here for a while. And I'm pretty sure you saw what's his friend's name? Simon. He was on Logical something. I forget what the name of the account was. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, he then said, he was like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. This is terrible. Why would you do that? Are you okay? So I was like, okay, buddy. I think if you can't see that, I think it's time to stop that distraction as well. So you start doing that one by one, and then you'll have them all of the troll accounts or whatever you want, the sock puppets, whatever, the inner circle. You never know who it really is, and you're going to go crazy if you try. Okay, and you will also go crazy if you acquiesce to their gaslighting and their emotional blow up. So I don't really mind if people say, I guess, like, I handled it improperly and stuff like that, because sometimes, most of the time I let that go, but sometimes you want to see how far it goes into. And I saw about like 7 or 8 Zero Infinities because there was like 6 that I had muted. different ones. Like each time I'd, and then they come back with another account named Zero Infinity. If you look up Zero Infinity right now, just do that and do like a channel zero with the zero on the end, infinity, right? And you look that up. And listen, again, this is just one example that I want to tell you. Look that up and then look at the display pictures of all of them. It's all like the most occultic stuff, like handwritten occult stuff, like hand art. It looks like it's amateur art. Yeah, and then they're calling your brother. It's like there's a lot of emotional manipulation. That sorry, boys, if I had something to gain by being here, by staying here, it would matter. It would matter. But unlike a lot of people, I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. So this is why it doesn't really matter to me. And yeah, you try not to engage them and carry on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got no problem with that. However, when you start seeing the scrolling, the slide, what I call sliding of the chat, means they're typing just to slide out any information that they don't want you to see. That's when it becomes a problem. So I start liking to clean house on that point. Especially when I have things to say, like, you should probably look into the connection between John Canada and Red Pill. It is very important. This is extremely important. I don't think John Canada exists. I think that if there was a name, if I was a personality like Red Pill and I wanted to like really mock like both the movement that I'm in, just to say how obvious it was, and also trying to make a link of what is truth from Jeff Canada, Jeff from Canada, John Canada, but John Canada has said that TMF would be the best person, but nobody knows who John Canada is. How does this make sense? How does this make sense? Who is this person? I think you need to look into this. Don't believe me. You can call me inflammatory or whatever. I got the big nose. Big nose. I haven't gotten that since like had to be junior high or something. Had to be junior high. It's a pretty, not like low blow, because it's like, oh wow, my nose is a big deal. That's not. That doesn't bother me whatsoever, but it was funny to get. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that in freaking ages. Maybe from the truth community when I started going against it at first. But again, it didn't faze me then. It won't faze me now. But I did have a laugh at it. Come on. All right. So yeah, good to see you, Robert. Listen, Robert, one thing I want to tell you about, because I did see you were working on this thing like Echelon Productions or Cloud 42 or Dragon Queen Media or something like that. I don't know if you're quite aware, but these are all like occultic names, right? Cloud 42. Anybody know how Cloud 42 works in occult? I'm not going to try and get into occult talk too much, but 42 is the number of Jupiter, and he was the cloud, sky, and thunder god. Pretty obvious. And then you got the Dragon Queen. Dragon Queen. What's the beast in Revelations? Who rises on the beast? Dragon Queen. The Dragon Queen. It's quite obvious. Quite obvious, Robert, but you should have been looking into that a little bit more, man, because if you're going to be with some group, Robert J. Morris, that have all these signs right in front of you, you should have been prepared for that, man. Come on, it's been 4 or 5 years you've been in this movement, dude. Come on. Listen, I'd let that pass the spring chickens. I would. Or the people who are, like Vic said, the truth, the real truth is God. If you're in that, that's cool if you want to use them. Don't worry, I got that email too. If they are yours, they are very occultic. I'm sorry, I misread that. I thought that they were actually somebody else's and someone was giving you a ride. But it seems like all three names that you gave me were very occultic. Echelon Productions, hey? Ay, 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 ay. Well, that's okay. That's okay until your business projects are all based on occultic names, just like the, just like the powers that be. Like you got to think about that. Think about that. You should probably take them back because listen. I get it. Like I even say KEK, the Keck thing, because I played World of Warcraft, and you say LOL on the Horde side. People playing the Alliance will see it as Keck, but really people are looking at like Keck the frog god or whatever. So like I get that. Like I shouldn't be saying that. These things happen. These things happen. But 3 out of 3 of your media. And I'm not saying that you are intentionally doing this, okay? Like I can't prove these things. What I can say is that either you might be someone that you're not saying you are, or you didn't learn enough from these areas you claim to be quite knowledgeable in to be able to pick that out. 3 out of 3. Whoa. Oof, 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 oof. No. You be yourself, man. You be yourself. But if we're going to call out the occult and that kind of stuff, some very auspicious, let's say auspicious for a reason. Be very careful. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. Some things are just an illusion. And I could be eluding myself or illusioning onto myself. I think it's eluding myself. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Maybe. But it doesn't mean that people shouldn't look into it. I'm the first person to say, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Yeah, but this is the thing. We are told by the Bible to have no discord with darkness. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, my friend. That's gotta look into that kind of stuff. The line between pretending to do things and being taught to do things is thin. Stay away from stuff that will steal your soul. Excuse me. Steal your soul. We need you strong. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I won't go too far off in the deep end, but what I am trying to say is, if the mentality of following the leader and allowing people to gaslight you continues in this movement so unchecked, you're never going to break out from the information control. That's cool, my friend. It's not your Bible. That's all I need to hear. It's okay. Don't worry. You don't have to be Christian. I'm not here to convert you either. But I just gotta let you know that it was telling that it's just I can't have discord with it. That's all. But thank you, Speak Life. Great point. You got to be careful not to go down, because this is the thing, when you look into the occult as well, that becomes its own issue. Like, you can go crazy over it. It's okay. And I mean, maybe it is echelon agreement. That could be a very plausible thing. But just saying, the 3 out of 3 very clear references, I guess, to some people, and it may not have been to you. It was telling. It was just realized that it wasn't. Since I believe in the Bible, I believe in God. I believe that Jesus Christ died for our sins, and we are to believe on him and him alone. And there's nothing that we can do, okay, without him. I believe that. That's what I believe. So for that reason, I can't have discord with you. Sorry, my friend. I do wish you, I did mean it when I said, I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. And I hope you see the light, my friend. I hope you see the light. Check Marie comment. Sorry, I was just trying to roll back up because I know that I'm saying some bad stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of the people that I have, I highly suspect are genuine, right? So I would love your opinions on this. And you can do it by email too if you don't want to, fan the fuel here. I get that. But if you take nothing else from this, please remember that things need to be talked about. Things need to be discussed because people are pulling the wool over your eyes and they expect you not to discuss it. Who is John Canada? So I think I found it. I'm at the beginning. You were speaking of your cat. You said he was given steroids. Steroids crash an immune system bad. You never want to use those. I understand, but there are these effects that have already happened. That's basically it. These people are not like, pushing that. And they weren't the ones that sold it to me either. Those guys. That was actually like a legitimate prescription. When you get to this point with a cat who has lost a lot of weight and didn't have much to start with, sometimes you have to take that chance. And that's the deal. That's the issue. That's the issue. Things got to stabilize, and you got to be careful about the regulation of it. Yeah, definitely. And it can do more harm than good if you're not careful about it. So yeah, that's why I'm doing that. And speaking of, I actually have to start giving his medication. So I won't have too much time to continue here on, but I will take a look if there's any chats that people are saying. Email about Anna, there were some misunderstandings. Absolutely. I'm sure that there were. I like a lot of the things too is that you got to bear in mind, I'm getting like a bunch of emails. I'm dealing with vets. I'm dealing with all kinds of stuff. And I have like 5, sometimes I can only like put out like 5 words, in some of those emails, they came out very trite, even when you guys were like knocking it out of the park to help me. So, and then I was like, oh, thank you so much. I'll get back to you. And a lot of times I couldn't. But if there was something specific I wanted to say, then I got a feeling what happened was that Anna was looking at me thanking Chi for getting me in touch with somebody about the FIP, which was a specific person. And I wanted to say specifically about her. But yeah, there was no worries about taking that as in like, oh, I don't care anything about you, because I'm pretty sure I also thanked you before that. So like, we're good, man. We're good. Don't worry about it. You're always welcome to talk here. Always. Let's keep going. Push through this. I notice the chat press people. Yeah, and I mean, if you keep observing, because I understand, like, a lot of this stuff like sounds like it's going out on a limb, and I wouldn't go and just like I wouldn't go and take like a crazy stance on TransAsia or 9/11 or I don't know if I ever called Sandy Hook a I don't think I ever did that, actually. I do believe that it may not be told as it happened, and I'm pretty sure I said that many times, but I don't think I ever said the H word. You know what I mean? Because I'm not 100% sure. You don't know, and I didn't want to take on that limb. So bear that in mind. I can only go by my observances, and my observances lead me to believe that I need to at least speak out about this so that you can take these leads and go with them. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I'm a person. I err. But if I'm right, would you want to know? Think about that. If I'm right, that John Canada is Red Pill, and Red Pill was given the information, apparently, that the registry for his website was given to him by John Canada. And John Canada is now also looking for information on Jeff's family. I don't know for what reason. Maybe there was more reasons than just even dealing with the family. Maybe it was to send a message to you guys in hopes I'd read it out. Tell you to stop asking questions. Maybe. I can't. This is how the nature works. I can only speculate. But merely speculating is not accusing. But if my speculations were correct, would you want to know that someone was doing that to Jeff? Think about that. It's a big question. It's a big question. This person, Jeff, for all his faults, I think he was a good guy. I think he was a lot better than a lot of them. He wanted to be there for truth. He was a tortured soul. He was a predictable soul. And with predictability comes manipulability, manipulation, manipulability. You know what I mean? All right. So I'll keep reading them out as we go, and I'll try and catch them up before we go. I'll just read it all out. Robert J. Morris, my friend, I do hope you know that you're always welcome here. However, I cannot endorse those names. If I were to team up with you, man, and endorse that knowing what I know, that would be a big problem. That's all I'm trying to say. Marie W. I know so many people with chronic illness who were destroyed by steroids. Yeah, I know. It's rough. It's rough. But you got to bear in mind that FIP there is no cure other than the thing I got to take now, actually. So it's got to be really quick. But along with it comes a lot of pain, and there's a lot of complications that can arise, and it doesn't act right away. It takes a while for that to build up in the system first. And he was suffering, and he was losing weight, and he was losing weight fast. And while they don't always prescribe it, in this case, this was the chance. This was the chance. He was a goner anyways. And that's a guarantee. I actually just got the FIP test back as inconclusive. It's a coronavirus, but we need new tests from that emergency vet, the scammers or whatever. So I was like, yeah, stop wasting my time. Go away. He was almost dead. So yeah. I'll keep going. This reminds me of Christian channels always exposing each other, but real topics gets missed. Sad. I don't know, man. What are we missing at this moment? We can talk about. I've done many hours actually this week where we're talking about specifically the Bible, which is the real important thing once you start looking into it. But to me, I think it's a big deal because I have enough to speculate whether or not this is the case, that John Canada is at least more connected to Red Pill than they would like us to know. And I think this actually impacts the community. It is part of the reason why I was called back in the first place, because people were hurting. People in Christ were hurting. People in Christ are being misled. And I think with these hidden identities, I think some things need to be exposed. And that's why I believe it's important. I think there's a lot of truthers, including myself. We could be spending all the time in the Bible. Absolutely. And I should be pointing more to Jesus. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can agree with you there. However, that doesn't mean that people aren't being misled and don't need help. Okay? This is like, I get that question a lot with the Mario videos. I'm pretty used to that, what sounds like a pre-cut answer. Simon, Alvin, and Theodore. I try not to engage them and carry on in soldier mindset. No times for morons unless they're tripping up a friend, Well, that is what I'm going at here. I do feel connected with the truth movement in some way, even though as I've just shown about 9/11, I'm not willing to believe a lot of the stuff that is pushed out there. I think it's pushed out there for a reason, and I think people are controlled and under some form of information bondage, or just bondage of the fear of shame, to not say what they truly believe, and that's how we stunt all conversation. And once you stunt that conversation, I mean, I don't know what truth movement you have left. I don't know what truth movement you have left. And so if there's one thing I can impart onto you guys, is that don't stop asking questions, and don't let people push you around on that. Stay in your Bibles, stay rooted, stay with the truth, but realize that we have been told that there are wolves in sheep's clothing. This was talking about believers in Christ, of course, and it overlaps. Believers in truth, those that know Christ, know that the non-Christian ones, or at least they believe that the non-Christian truthers just haven't found out the connection between Jesus and the truth, between the Bible and the truth. They just haven't been able to get that connection yet. And there's different ways to make that connection. It's not always being a sweetheart. It's not always being a sweetheart. And the occult is the best way to keep that message from being known. Okay, so I think it'll be more clear as it comes on, because I sense the more that I'm on this, the more I'm pushed to talk the Bible, and I think there's a reason for that. I think it is important that Jesus is mentioned, but there are times, there's a season for everything, and I think that season is now, while I can strike while the iron's hot. Iron. Remember Larry King making fun of Norm Macdonald for saying that? Strike while the iron is hot. And and maybe it can wake up a couple people. Maybe it can plant some seeds for a couple people. And whatever happens to me, whatever. It's okay. I'm not a pastor. I've never been a pastor. I remember one time like thinking about maybe I could start a church, and then it was like, okay, well, if you're starting like an online church, then you have to start looking at a pastor. And it's like, can you consider yourself one as per biblical? Sorry, it's been a long week. I start like losing trains of thoughts, but like the pastoral epistles, it pretty much lays out who should be a pastor, who should be whatnot in different positions in the church. Can you rectify that? And if not, can you find someone who can? And I don't think that you can do that necessarily on the internet. No matter how much you like someone, you just don't know them. So yeah, don't treat me like I am some leader. Don't look at me like I'm a donkey. Seriously, a human that makes errors. And you're more than welcome to talk about it, but I'm just more in this chat. I would rather this conversation at least strengthen a little bit, so you can take it with you, start asking your own questions. That's the main thing here. Okay, this is the big message I'm taking out. TMF is going to think it's about TMF, and yeah, a lot of people might see that too. That's okay. He's a good example. He's a good example of all of this. He's just playing mind games in the community. Well, you know. That's it. Loser's gonna lose. I don't have anything to lose. Let's see. John Canada sounds like a phony name. Big time. Yeah, I don't know too many people last name Canada living in Canada. It's like, I don't know. Do you know many people with last name like America? I mean, I don't know. I have seen the last name Canada. I have seen it, but it's very, very uncommon. It's not like John Smith of Canada. It's not the John Smith of Canada. Especially, it'd be, in my opinion, I think it'd be weird in Quebec to have a last name Canada because of the whole separatism thing. That must have been a hard time growing up for him, provided he exists. Douglas Adams, a reference to Douglas in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You couldn't pick it up at if we can't think for ourselves, we don't have the information, things like that. Can't pick it up. Can't pick it up. It's there. It's there. 42 is Jupiter. And so, I mean, you can add other plausibilities onto that as well, man. I mean, like, you're basically just taking names that other people are making. These are your explanations. So, I don't know. I would rather, if you're taking a name, like when I took a name like Avidon, it was based, like, I didn't say red pill or, you know, some other thing that wasn't sure. It was like a name from the Bible that meant my father's judge, or it is a little bit weird, but the Avidon, Don being, it is another word for father. Or judge, sorry. It's been a long time. Again, I'm tired. Leave me alone. But the point is that I went straight to the Bible for my names because I didn't want to deal with that. And if you're taking things straight from the world, that's okay too. If you want to be of the world, that's it's not my prerogative to tell you what world to be in, but I have a father that tells me which world that I'm to be of and which to be of not of. And taking names of the world like that is one of those things that it's just, I guess, maybe he gave me a little discernment on that kind of stuff, to be careful about it. At least the drive or whatnot to learn a few of those things. Maybe watch my back while I'm in this movement. That's okay though. Again, at the end of the day, you do what you want to do, man. But no, I can't team up with that. Glad you pointed that out, Avidon. Thanks. I'm not 100% sure what you mean. I'm not going to keep talking about cults with you, Robert. I'm sorry. I say poop because I'm old and wear depends. Yeah, and I mean, there's times that, like, so, like, if I'm not in the Word and I'm around, people that swear, it can rib off. And I'm kind of curbing that now as I was in a little bit of that spell of being like alone, being on the internet and dealing with all that crap. So I say crap, whatever. I mean, I don't think this is really a salvation issue. But the more I am in the Word, I find the more I don't like to swear. So I think it naturally happens. It's not something that I want to do. It's not something that I think is a good thing to do. But these are the things that you leave to God while you have your faith in Him. And what matters is your faith in Him. God said dung. God was talking about menstrual rags. It's not necessarily like these can become, and listen, I also have been acting or pushing hard to kind of quell it a bit, because I was like even getting to the point where I was saying the F word. Like I don't take the Lord's name in vain and that stuff. That was one thing, is just a line that I'm not going to do that. There's so many other things you can say in anger or whatever if you're not, if you're not strong in the word at the moment or something, But yeah, there was even like the F word that I was saying, things like that. So not good to say. I wouldn't want to say them here, and I wouldn't want to say them elsewhere, but specifically here, because we have people that are young in the word in many ways, and they cannot see the truth and things like that, and I would just be creating a stumbling block, as we were talking about in Romans with the strong and the weak. So no, it's cool. No. I understand. I get what you mean. It's not something we're trying to excuse. What comes out of the mouth is important, just like you're saying. Exactly. As for salvation issue, it depends, and it's all based on the heart, and that's God's thing, not our thing. We're not very good at judging the heart, and I see that people like to point that out often, unless that they're the ones doing it. And of course, I know it seems like I'm doing it with the red pill, but I think the more you observe, the more you shall see. But yeah, no, great point. I hope I didn't say like, the C word too much, because I certainly don't want to. I just meet with believers online as a group, like the original believers, searching the scriptures and praying, praying. I really only want to be led by the Holy Spirit, who teaches all things. Love it. I got nothing against that, and that's not what I was talking about with the church thing. I was talking about actually, like, every week I would set up, like, certain info thing like that, or I would collaborate with someone who would do that, and we could do, like, every week some sort of sermon. That's what I was like thinking about before, like years ago, and then I quickly realized, like, I'm not qualified for that, nor do I believe we have enough process to do that in this movement. I don't think that we would be able to vet people if we started saying, yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do, because then you get like the KJs being your pastor, or me being your pastor. I'm not qualified to be a pastor, so like that's what I mean. Like, you don't go with the leader. Don't go with the leader. Realize that all content creators, we all have our faults. We all make our errors, and that's there's a lot to gain by some of them by hiding that from you, rather than trying to search for their errors and convicting themselves. Listen, guys, I got my cat here. I'm going to pick this up, keep going. Brittany's saying eating shrimp. Shrimp is great. And it's good to keep a little bit lighthearted, because I know this stuff is heavy and button pressing, and it seems like I'm just starting to kick up some smoke, but you'll see in a moment. You'll see. Nothing stronger. Oh, yeah, the blood of Christ is potent AF. Nothing stronger. Absolutely. And I completely agree. We'll keep that AF. Sweet. You should join over at Watchman Project. He does live stream events, Bible study with us in chat and stuff. Yeah, the live streams. Yeah, I'll take a look. You know what? Yeah, I'll take a look. I haven't seen any of this yet. So yeah, I'll take a look. Absolutely. Do you have link for the watch? Yeah, you can put it there. No problem. Wasn't excusing anything. Oh, we're starting to pick up a little bit. Yep, what goes into the mouth, it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles the body, but what comes out of it. Forget the exact wording. Absolutely. You don't want to bear false witness. False witness. That's a big thing, especially what I'm talking about right now. I don't believe it's false witness. I think I've seen enough, and I've seen enough reactions, and I know the gaslighting tactics, that this is how you expose evil. You shine lights on it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's okay. Yeah, right beside y'all. Like, yep, y'all stop doing that bad stuff, KJB. Oh boy, always convicting my potty mouth. Yeah, and again, this is why I constantly, like, you see the difference. The more you're in the Word, the more I feel led by the Holy Spirit. The more that you read it, the more it convicts you. The more it convicts you, it forces you to make a choice. Do you continue doing it? And God can walk you through that if you trust him. And I'm not saying continue doing it. What I'm saying is that we have our own problems then. These things take time. They can't stop right away. And you don't know where people are in that process. You will never know where people are in that process. You can only see it by the fruits, okay? And the fruits I'm seeing here in this movement, specifically with some channels, is rotten, okay? And they operate under darkness. They operate under illusion. And sometimes you have to flip the tables on them. What was the flipping of the table? Why did Jesus flip the tables in the temple? Was it just because there's some merchant somewhere selling stuff? This is one thing the communists do when they try and say that Jesus was a communist. They say that they flipped the tables of the bankers. No, that's not quite right. There was money exchanging going on. Yes. What was happening though? You were not allowed to donate. It was set up at this point before he flipped the tables. It was set up that when you went to the temple, you were not to donate specifically with your money. They had done so that you would exchange your money for the tokens, the tributes that you can give to the temple. And so what happens then? They took the laws of the time, trying to make you feel if you are truly pure, then you would do this. And then these money changers used God by being in the temple doing that. They used God to become the middleman for donations. And that's what I'm saying right now is happening. This is what these people are doing, except for Christians, we know that God is the truth and the truth is God. A lot of truthers don't know that, okay? Maybe they won't ever. And I think we need to witness to them in certain ways. But this is the equivalent, okay? This is the equivalent. These are people who are taking truth, God's truth, and they are putting it through filters and control mechanisms so that ultimately they can have a website where they can have donations, they can have a big following, all this kind of stuff. And if I wanted to keep doing like the Illuminati videos, I could have had a big following too. And I chose not to. And if I wanted to monetize things, I could have done that 5 years ago, and I never did. Never did. Never did. Because when you're looking for the truth, you want the truth. And when you're looking for mammon, you want mammon. Yeah, they're selling you Trump coins in Q World, and you know, like they or the whatever postcards and bunker food, and there's all different kinds of things that they will try and sell you. But I mean, it's all just means to an end. All right, guys, I can't let this go any longer. I'm actually about 20 minutes late on this, so I just want to make sure that he was clear of food and everything like that. I do have to clue this up. Money changers were selling CDs. Speak Life, I'll give you the last word there, because I do certainly appreciate everybody here that's in this chat. I thought there was a good one. There's a way for all things, but it's narrow and few will find it. Jesus told the rich man to give everything to the poor and follow him, but also chastise those who hid their talents. Where to work? Yeah. Yep. Where to work? Where to work? Absolutely. I'm not saying. Listen, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. What we do is important. What we do is important. Faith without works is dead. But as we remember, I think it's in James 3, That's James 3. Faith without works is dead. What are they talking about in that? Maybe I can get to this real quick before I go. But I think it had to do with the seats, actually, going back to the best seats in the house. James, faith without works dead. So they're saying, do what you do in love. Do what you do in love. Okay? Sorry, because I got to make this quick. I'll come back to this. Do what you do in love. There's a part of me that loves this movement. It has taken me through a lot. It has strengthened my resolve to read the Bible many times. For all my errors, I see a lot of good people here that were being misled. And I'm showing you, whether I'm right or wrong on this one, how these people manipulate you. Okay? And one of the ways is legalism. The narcissists don't have to be that spiritual to get the legalism down pat. They have the legalism down pat. And they use it against you all the time. Oh, you're swearing, you're swearing, swearing. Listen. Where you are in God's process is between you and God alone. You and God alone. When you are in sin, it is great to have iron sharpening iron. This is important. This is very important. And works matter. They are an outward sign of your faith. And these are things under the glorification process. It's important not to just poke at it and make it stumble for some. Okay? If your heart is with God, God knows that. Yes, that's all I wanted to say. It's got to be in love. It's got to be in love. And when you start realizing that there's no discord with darkness, and you got to focus on those that might be able to break out of it, that might be able to break out of it by asking these questions. Who is John Canada? Very, very, very interesting question. And I highly recommend you at least look into that while you're into your Bibles. I'm certainly not telling you to not read your Bibles. I try and say it at the end of everything. All right, guys, I gotta get going. I don't get any meat from YouTube. I solely watch vids for, yeah, absolutely, your discernment and well, I mean, be in the Word and ask for the Holy Spirit. It will comfort you. Makes things easier. Once you grow closer to the freedom in Christ alone, you feel the bits and bridles man tries putting on you very quickly and pull back. Yeah. I hear you. And the more that you're in it, the more that you're into that, the more it becomes repulsive, the ways of the world. So like, doesn't take long before those swear words go away. What matters is keeping your eye on Christ and keeping your Bible. Yeah. All right, guys. So thank you very much. Who is John Canada? Is it red pill? I can't prove that, but it's certainly worth looking into. Bye now. Crack your Bibles.